Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend she is embarrassing? I, 37 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 21 female, for about 4 months, and it's going great. She's super fun and outgoing, and I love that about her. My only issue in our relationship is how she presents herself. She's got all these piercings and tattoos, wears a lot of makeup, and pretty revealing clothing. The other day, it was my birthday, and I invited her to go out for drinks with my friends and she could meet some friends that she hasn't met before. I asked her to tone down her makeup and outfits a little, and she said yes she would. Later that evening, she meets us at the bar and she's wearing a tight little flower dress that shows off all of her tattoos, these black high heels and dark red lipstick, and had those big eyeliner wings, and she still had all her facial piercings in. All my friends stared at her. I ignored it and tried to have a nice time, but I could tell my friends were laughing at her and judging me. When she came over later that night, she asked why I seemed so distant and angry. I told her that she said she would tone down her outfits when meeting my friends, and she couldn't even do that for me on my birthday. She had embarrassed me in front of friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. She apologized and she said she thought she looked pretty and I would like the outfit. She went to bed and left in the morning and hasn't returned my calls. My mum thinks I'm not the asshole, but should have just left it alone. Am I the asshole? Now to the comments. You're the asshole, obviously. Maybe everyone is staring because you are dating a girl that is 16 years younger than you. I am increasingly convinced we need some kind of class or PSA for young women. Girl, he isn't with you because you're mature for your age and not like the other girls. He's with you because he's still mentally 21 himself. Women his age won't tolerate him, and younger women are typically more malleable, and he's a control freak like OP. Let's not blame this one on the woman. It's the guys who need to learn to go for people their age instead of grooming these poor girls. See, I think you're both right. Like, yes, it's definitely not the woman's fault because someone 10 plus years her senior decided to go after her, but being aware of the true intentions will also make it harder for the older creep to be able to groom her. You're the asshole, and so are your friends. I hope she realizes she can do better. Date women your own age, bro. So I'll say it. I don't think the friends were laughing at the girlfriend for how she looked. I think they were laughing at the fact that OP was dating someone young enough to be his daughter. I completely agree. If they had never met her before, he might have been completely lying about her in either appearance or the "she's super mature for her age" BS. They are laughing at his obvious midlife crisis. Man pushing 40 dates beautiful, confident, alt-style 21-year-old. Never heard that before. Massive you're the asshole. If you're embarrassed by the way she looks, why are you dating her? There are plenty of people who wouldn't be ashamed to be seen with her, and she deserves someone like that. Not someone nearly twice her age who is going to shame her. She doesn't need 2 dads. This has to be a joke, right? You're the asshole, and in no way will any sane person agree with you. You are dating a girl who has tattoos, piercings, and likes to wear makeup, but you're embarrassed by it. Do you think you're going to change her? I don't expect her to return your phone calls. Your friends can F off for judging her too, by the way. And now on to the update. She texted me and said that we're over and she'll be getting her stuff from my apartment. Her and her older brother will be over in an hour. And now in the comments. Oh man, I love happy endings. Quote, her dad's a major asshole who hates me and thinks we should break up. No daddy issues, but a shitty dad. Gee, I wonder why. Sounds like a great dad to me. He knew. Exactly. If her relationship with her dad is good, and her dad hates you, guess which one of you is likely to be the asshole here? But his mommy doesn't think he's the asshole. Gotta love a 21-year-old doing what she wants with confidence, and a 37-year-old whining, "Mommy said I was right." I wonder if the friends were really judging her outfit, or if they didn't realize how much younger she was and were actually judging him. In the comments, he said he asked her to cover up her anti-cop tattoo because his best friend was a cop. But yeah, probably also that. I'm assuming ACAB. Yes, with a possum. But he mentioned sometimes that saying gets deleted, so I didn't put it. Wait, what's the ACAB and possum connection? Possums are kinda popular on left-wing internet spaces. For some people, like anarchists and crust punks, they have some deeper meaning. But I think most people just like that they are cute and kind of unorthodox, and don't have any real connection. I mean, this woman didn't change her entire appearance in 4 months. She likely didn't have the style of a 65-year-old librarian when they met. He must have liked it at least a little. Control freaks confuse me. They must actually look at someone and think, yup, she has the body type I like, she can change everything else. It's not like that. He likes pierced, tattered women in tight, short clothes. He just doesn't want his family and friends to know that is his taste because he feels it reflects poorly on him. It's like the chubby chasers who only date curvy women but refuse to take them out in public. As someone who comes from a family that's basic and have never really been around people with unique tastes, dating my current partner had me nervous. She had pretty cool and wild outfits and hairstyles, and I felt embarrassed at first. I had to kick myself in the ass hard to realize that I'm dating her because I like her style and I shouldn't be afraid of having her around my family. Couple years later, and it's my favorite thing about her. I encourage all of her outfits no matter where we go, including around my family. Our next post is titled, I gave my friend power of attorney and now I want it back, but he's making it difficult. Long story short, my friend wants to go to law school but has no experience. He asked if he could be my power of attorney to get some experience, and I agreed because I wanted to help him out. But I'm not happy with what he's doing, and I can't figure out how to make him stop. When we were out for drinks with friends one time, he saw the debit card that I was using and said that it was a bad bank. Next thing I know, I'm trying to use the card, and it's not working. Turns out he pulled all my money out, closed the account, and opened a new one with a different bank plus a credit card with the bank. When he gave me the new cards, I explained that I liked the old bank because they have branches in my home state that I can use when I go home for summer from school. The new bank doesn't. I also really don't believe in credit cards and never wanted one. I have enough student loan debt anyway. But he said this bank was better and credit cards make more sense, and he was doing me a favor. He also requested all my medical records from the student health center and let it slip in front of friends that I'm taking an antidepressant. A girl that I like in our group doesn't believe in them, and now she's really not talking to me anymore. I've brought up to him that I'm kind of not happy with this arrangement, but he said that he needs the power of attorney for a few more months to show his law school applications that he has relevant experience, especially if he can't get a legal job this summer between our junior and senior years. I'm having car trouble, and he keeps trying to involve himself in the repair process and bully the mechanic, and it makes me super uncomfortable, but I don't want to hurt his chances at law school. I'm in California. Now in the comments, he is scamming you. Go to a lawyer now. There is no way that he can make it hard for you to get him out. Get his POA status revoked, and go over everything he had access to. Lord only knows what else he may have been screwing with. This dude is not your friend. If there is any way to, and make sure you ask a lawyer about this, I would see if charges could be brought up against them. You don't need experience effing with your friends to get into law school. I'd tell him he's done immediately, and if he doesn't respond to that, then send a certified letter stating the same. Once he receives that, anything he does could be criminal. That should get this asshole's attention. As for the medication, tell this idiot to read up on privacy laws and fiduciary responsibility. He will need to understand that well as an attorney. And now on to the update. About a week after my original post, I talked with my friend and said that I appreciated all his help, but it was getting to be a hassle, and I'd prefer to manage my own stuff from here on out. He was disappointed but understood. All in all, it was a mixed experience. There were some positives. He was more aggressive negotiating with the mechanic than I would have liked, but in the end, the mechanic knocked $200 off the bill. Also, I've come around to like the credit card that he opened for me. I'm going to be able to use the points to get a free flight home next semester. There were some negatives too. He discovered that 2 of the classes that I needed to graduate were being offered at the nearby community college this semester, so he signed me up to try and save me some money. But when he requested that, my current school sent transcripts to the community college. That almost made me lose a scholarship with my actual school. I had to basically beg and plead with the financial aid office, but in the end, it all worked out. Also, that girl who I liked who found out that I'm on antidepressants tried to cause some drama in our friend group about me, but I'm over it now. People were pretty critical in the previous post and kept saying that I was being scammed, but that's not at all what happened. He just needed some experience to put on his applications. Also, lots of people said this wouldn't help with law schools, but I'm not pre-law, so I don't know one way or another. I signed a letter of reference for him because I'm not going to stand in the way of his dreams, and on the whole, he helped by being my power of attorney. Now in the comments, OP never understood what power of attorney means or believed any of the replies. Some would wonder why he posted if he was going to just ignore everyone. I think he was hoping people would reassure him that this was fine and normal so that he wouldn't have to confront the friend. At least he dodged a massive bullet by blowing his chances with the girl he was into. She sounded like a nightmare, and OP sounded like the type of guy to excuse all of her terrible behavior if they had ever gotten together. Bullet dodged? But it's still frankly disturbing to think that his friend got access to his medical records and then shared that information. Yikes. Even if this time it wasn't a scam per se, OP is definitely gonna get scammed at some point. I'm literally wondering how many years until OP finds out what really went down. Yup, OP doesn't have any sense at all. I was thinking that maybe OP is actually a bit simple. Like some people with lower IQ do get into university and college because they study and remember things well, but don't really have that much common sense. And I say this as a special ed teacher. OP reminds me of some of my students. They do well in school, but believe everything other people tell them and are unbelievably naive. Our next post is titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my fiancé I won't proceed with our wedding if he insists on inviting his female friend?" So my 29 female, fiancé, 32 male, has a female best friend since childhood. Now, I'm not the kind of person who gets jealous over my partner being friends with the opposite gender. I'm bisexual, so it wouldn't be rational of me to have some weird expectations like this. Plus, my fiancé has many female friends as a straight guy, and I have friends of both genders as well. What bothers me here is not the gender of the friend, but whether or not they are able to respect boundaries. So I'd make the same small talk if the friend in question was a male. So to the point, his female best friend Rachel has always been in competition with me regarding on who's more important and a bigger priority to my fiancé. At first, my fiancé failed to stand up to her and set boundaries, but after a small break we had, and after we reconciled, he realized the importance of boundaries and set hard boundaries with her. I know that whenever she sees me or hears about me, she is not happy, but we act kind to each other despite our actual feelings. This situation, by the way, has been rolling out for the past 5 years that I've been with my fiancé. When he proposed, Rachel didn't congratulate us at all, and completely overlooked our entire engagement and kept referring to me as my fiancé's girlfriend. My fiancé kept correcting her each time, even telling her how she's not funny or quirky doing this. She's just disrespectful. And after a certain point, she stopped. Now that we are planning our wedding, we picked out some groomsmen and bridesmaids, and my fiancé has his female friend as one of his groomsmen, a groomswoman. After my fiancé asked her to join that role, she texted me a lengthy paragraph, which, to sum it up, said, "Just so you know, your fiancé and I are still each other's priority. You may marry him and have kids with him, share a house with him, but right now he picked me as a groomswoman, knowing how that would bother you because he cares about not hurting my feelings more than your feelings. You can't easily ruin friendships like that. Just stay in your lane and accept your place. You might be his wife, but I'm his friend, and I'm not going anywhere. Make peace with it, and who knows, soon enough we might get along." I showed my fiancé, and he said that he'll deal with her, and I shouldn't worry. I told him that I have had enough, and that the only solution I'm accepting is proper consequences for her actions. That means she is either dropped as a groomswoman or uninvited. He makes the call for which one it will be, but I'm tired of his best friend not having real consequences for her actions and getting her way. I won't trust him enough to proceed with our wedding if he doesn't set clear limits and make his friend face the consequences of her behavior. He said what I'm doing is very unfair because he is not responsible for her actions and feels like I'm putting unnecessary responsibility and pressure on him. Am I the asshole? And now in the comments, not the asshole, but Rachel wasn't wrong when she said he cared more about her feelings than yours. Please consider if you want to be the second most important person in your marriage. Not the asshole. You are not being remotely unfair. The only response to that text is him telling her to get the F out. Not just in regards to the wedding, to his entire life. If someone had sent something half as bad to my husband, I would let them know they were, for all intents and purposes, dead to me. I would not marry this man unless he takes appropriate action. This is insanity. Exactly right. If a friend of mine spoke to my husband like that, they would be instantly out of my life. Yes, indeed, OP is not the asshole. However, if fiancé dumps Rachel, uninvites her to wedding, or demotes her from groomswoman, she will ratchet it up and do who knows what. She ain't given up without a major fight. She will try anything to break you two up and try to make you miserable. Also, likely spread many rumors. Be aware. Edit to add, might want some security for the wedding and reception if there is even a remote possibility of Rachel doing some sabotage. Beware. Not the asshole. If your fiancé's response to Rachel is anything other than, "What the hell is wrong with you? And I don't want you in my wedding or my life until you apologize to my future wife and realize that she is my priority from now on," then I think you are right to be concerned that he does indeed care more about her feelings than yours. She is way out of her lane sending you a message like that. Like, who the hell does that? Your fiancé might not be responsible for her behavior, but he is responsible for setting boundaries with his friends around how they treat you, and boundaries mean nothing without consequences. You are right to expect him to set the tone now for what he will allow Rachel to get away with, and to refuse to get married until he shows that you are truly his priority, even when it puts him in the middle of a conflict. And now on to the update. So this update probably came sooner than I expected, and maybe than you expected as well. While I had this post up, I was sitting next to my fiancé. I told him that I don't want to ask feedback from family and friends, and I don't want them involved in our drama, so I would rather get some unbiased feedback here. He's been reading some of the responses, and while at first he was very defensive over his actions, he has just now started realizing on how he has to reflect on this a bit more. I also explained to him once again in detail on why what I think Rachel is doing is bad and how it might destroy not just our relationship, but any future relationship he might get even after we break up, because no person would be willing to stand for that disrespect. We are having a chat about it now, and he is thinking of distancing himself from Rachel. Edit 2, for the record, he decided to uninvite her from the wedding completely and later distance himself from her. Now in the comments, I get the feeling that this is not actually concluded until Rachel finds out and the wedding is over. Shit's gonna go down. OP had a comment that fiancé was calling Rachel to tell her, but she wouldn't pick up, so he texted her to say that she was no longer invited. Her response was, "I'm at work, I'll call later." Yup, this crap isn't over. I feel like that crap is going to involve law enforcement and the fire department, because Rachel doesn't seem sane nor rational to me. My faith in this marriage is not the least bit restored. Rachel literally just spelled out her plan like a Bond villain. The man is either utterly spineless or really does want Rachel as a backup side piece. Either way, not marriage material. It's kinda weird that he didn't uninvite her immediately after seeing that text. She wasn't just being rude and deeply disrespectful to OP, but to him too. It's because he wants to do nothing. He wants to hope that it goes away. He likes the attention. He likes having Rachel on his hook. An emergency escape, if you will. And Rachel was the one that did the crazy thing. But she isn't asking him to confront an awkward situation. She's creating it, but not making him do anything about it. So his now wife gets the blame because she's making him do something. And that's where I'm going to end this one today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.